What's up, folks? God. What's up, folks? I'm Odd, by the way, and welcome to a new kind of challenge. This one might be a little bit more convoluted than I usually do, almost, but the basic idea here is making an excuse for study, really. Let's be fair, a lot of these are. But it's been a minute since I really have made a video that's like a study excuse. So we are going to be doing a kind of relatively common character exercise, as well as drawing scenery practice, because I'm going to be rolling to design a character and then proceeding to design their room. So basically the space where they live and sleep that best encapsulates themselves, regardless of whether or not you may actually have your full personality present in your room. It's a pretty common place to like express yourself in a kind of internal way. It like represents the psychology a little bit. And I don't know, for instance, my room is really, really messy and full of Pokemon, just like my brain. That is what we're going to be doing today. I have pulled up this random generator that I have used before for rolling random mood boards. And these are all created by people, so the pictures aren't individually selected like some random mood board generators are. Basically, the idea being here that I'm going to use these mood boards as inspiration for the characters, which is very common as well. And as well as that, anything that isn't directly influencing the character itself is going to be put into their living space, their room, right? So that's the general idea, and I'm probably going to do a character and their... Hi, kitty. Hi, tail. I'm probably going to be doing a character and their room together. And in that case, I might actually do just the two. You want to say hi? This is Tulsi. She's in the room with me at the moment. She was crying to get in. You're sweet. Hi, baby. Okay. But yes, kitty aside, let's roll... You're distracting me. Let's roll some mood boards for our characters. So, did I already say I think I'm going to do 2 as opposed to my usual 3, because that's going to be 4 drawings, 1 character, 1 room, 1 character, 1 room. And that might already be too much for me. I might be better off just doing the 1 character in the 1 room, but I will try my best. This seemed like a fun idea, so I wanted to do it more than once at least. But let's just generate our first mood board. Oh! Please don't squeeze me till I'm yours. Oh, that's so cute. Oh, this is such a cute peach mood board with a little bear in the center. Yes, I love this so much. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. I love this sign. Please don't squeeze me till I'm yours. They knew what they were doing. That's adorable. Alright. And our next and final character for the day, a boop. This is probably going to be a couple of my mind. Especially with this duality. My god. Oh, this is my favorite. Oh, like the 2 aspects of my personality. Hello. It's so purple! I love purple! Oh, and this is my favorite purple, and it's so spooky. Yes! I love it! Okay. Copy this image. And now, I'm not entirely sure what to do with these, despite all this. Let me bring you guys down over to clips so we can deliberate a little bit. Boop. So yes, we have a very peachy, with a little bear in the center, little arrangement. It looks like there's 2 of the same picture for some reason, but I guess it's just slightly different angles. That's interesting. Maybe just to kind of even it out overall. All of the peachiness. Little, like, soft, cuddly grizzly bear doing a wave in the center. So yeah, I could see this being a literal, you know, grizzly bear with a kind of peach motif. Or a very, like, I guess kind of a... it could be a gay bear. Or a very, like, big but fluffy, nice character, you know? Is the vibe that I'm getting there, with some very, like, very, very soft pastel peachy motifs. And then our ethereal purple witchy vibe here. I actually don't know what this bottom corner picture. Oh, is it it's roses on glass? But it's, oh, you know what it is? It's probably that like pixelated glass. And this is just artifacted to hell. This whole thing has like an analog vibe along with it. So, but yeah, that pixel glass that makes things look like they're pixelated. Otherwise, very dark, very kind of edgy. Reality is a prison. Super fun. Love the like ethereal, cosmic, purple vibe that this is giving off. I don't quite understand, like, in my mind, what kind of character this would be, but I also do. Maybe like, you know, you see how these hands, like, obviously this is just like a very dark lit picture with this with the glitter, you know. But I could see like a like amorphous cosmic being, kind of similar to that static character that I made in the original thing. So both of these could be like humanoid characters, despite the bear, as cute as a bear would be, and probably dating, knowing me. So at that, I think that I'm going to move this over to speed paint voiceover so that I can deliberate on these a little bit more in my own time, and I'll show you what I came up with when we get there. So see you there. Alright, starting out with our pastel peachy bear mood board. I started kind of envisioning a very soft, sleepy character, but as I went, I decided to make the underlying vibe of the character a bit more alternative. This is someone who has a very particular aesthetic, and it involves a lot of teddy bears. I went for this sort of oversized bear hoodie, complete with a fuzzy fabric on the outside and sort of a peachy lining on the inside and around the banding. Beyond that, I feel like the outfit is pretty simple. It's just a t-shirt, barely visible below the coat, jeans, and canvas shoes, topped off with some pink hair, and a teddy bear, of course. I kept the color palette very warm beside the blue in the jeans and the bear's eyes for a little bit of contrast, but I even went back and tinted everything the one peach tone just a bit to tie it all together that much more. I sometimes like to give my characters something of myself, something that I'm currently interested in, so I added some colorful patches to the jeans with some sashiko, which is a Japanese method of pattern mending. I haven't been super into that particular method because it requires a bit more gritting and planning, but I have dabbled in some visible mending. Honestly, half the time it's only visible because I'm not that good at it, but it doesn't need to be great, just functional, so that kind of what draws me to it. Not that I don't go overboard and try to make things look pretty, but that's also part of the fun there. This character is probably a bit more deliberate in their work, oddly meticulous despite the chill nature I gave them, but I do love some duality. This is, of course, Teddy. Teddy has two main aesthetic interests, pastels and teddy bears. Their name itself may have been self-chosen. She works with music and sound design as a main career, occasionally streaming or doing other odd jobs, but their main hobby and passion is repairing found abandoned friends and either donating them or adding them to her extensive collection. Despite their chill vibes, Teddy does put a lot of effort into everything they do, to the point that they may have a bit of a control problem, but it's fine, it's cool, totally. The room bit was where I realized I may have messed up choosing two characters. And the reason this is a day late. It took forever. I think generally speaking, I like making backgrounds and adding little meticulous details to everything, at least when my brain is in for it, but it is obviously very time consuming. I guess I'm also not quite as used to background elements or, you know, interior designs. So that's probably where this exercise comes in, to sort of figure out those things a little bit more quickly. At some point, I forgot to record for a little bit, not a lot, but a layer of sketching in the lining of the quilt. Thankfully, I noticed after that, but if you see a jump, that's why. The little aspects of clutter and scene setting in the room are probably my favorite, though they do just add that much more to draw. Big moment where I had to endure Google's search decline with AI. You would be so inclined to think searching hoodie over back of chair would include some top search results of a sweater hung either by the shoulder or hood on a chair, right? Yeah, no. I had to make like a very distinct search because I just got like 30 clearly AI generated ads for chairs with hoods. Why is this necessary? Who wants this? Searching for references has gotten so grating, like not only because of the AI results, but because the search has gotten actively worse. Okay, cooling off. Almost in spite of that, I did eventually find something I could work with, I guess. I do really like the imagery of Teddy's hood over their chair, bears just everywhere, realistic messy hamper, the teddy bear bookends. I also allowed myself to not have to fully render these rooms just for the sake of time and my own sanity. Yeah, as much as it might be fun to add some cool light and shadow, but maybe sometime a bit further in the future. It still turned out really cute though, just all sorts of soft and pastel. Next up is our deliciously purple and slightly ethereal vibe. It gave me a very witchy feeling, which if you can manage to read my layers off on the side, you may pick that up. I literally just named the folder for this purple witch. So you might know how earlier I mentioned that the starry black hand reminded me a bit of the OC I created from the last Moodboard challenge, Static. Well, I may have just decided to make another ethereal cat-shaped creature very similar to them. Honestly, I feel like you can't go wrong with it though. In this particular case, I also got a feeling of a connection to a character entity that has been a part of my life for a good little while now. I had a dream a good few years ago that included a character similar to this, albeit not humanoid or even really all that anthropomorphic. I was having one of those dreams where, like, due to some weird clerical error, I have to retake some stupidly young grade as an adult, knowing I'm an adult. It's not necessarily recurring, but it is a very common setting. But this time, I actively decided to say, wait, this is bullshit. I am an adult human in like 4th grade or whatever. I am not doing this, and I will deal with whatever consequences I may have. And suddenly, it shifts into like the coolest dream ever. Like, I was part of this group of people assigned to these magical beasts, and mine was this creature that was like a cat-shaped creature made of light and shadow. I was told right away that they were their own entity and wanted it to be known. Their name was Twilight, and they wanted to be referred to as they, them. Like, genuinely, the whole spiel there. Honestly, I was quite intimidated by them in dream, but when I woke up, I had this feeling that they kind of represented autonomy, given how that part of the dream started. So this character is both inspired by and named after them. Albeit, I don't know if they take a humanoid form, but this is essentially them as a furry. Initially, I was considering tying these characters together like I usually do, but they don't really need to be. I mean, I'm sure Teddy could be the type to find a shadow entity witch in their closet, but it's not as cut and dry here, I think. Twilight is a young shadow shaper, a type of magic user that works on a separate ethereal plane. They occasionally visit the human world, sometimes in disguise or others in dreams. Their experiments with magic can sometimes result in weird effects like rogue portals and eldritch monsters, so they're still working out the kinks there. Shadow Shapers mostly work alone, as the previous ones often die or go missing years before the next is able to take their place, so Twilight is stuck with just books and their own grimoire for reference. Similar to the character themselves, I decided to make the rooms somewhat simple. Totally, not also because I was feeling a looming deadline and my hand was tired out by Teddy's room. I'm mostly joking here, but I did let myself know my limits here. And beside that, it felt like a good move for this character. I feel like an extraplanar magic entity might not have as much use for a bedroom, but maybe a bed is nice to have regardless. The whole vibe here is a bit more fantastical. Big stone walls and floor, raised platform bed, stained glass eye window, and what room could be complete without a mysterious floating crystal? Not Twilight's, surely. I think it could be like a scrying device or something at the end of the day, their equivalent of Teddy's computer. I tried to better outline Twilight's main priority, that being the books and the grimoire on the far more used-looking desk. They're kind of reminding me of more and more of another Twilight in that regard. Not to mention the bookshelves everywhere. That in itself is also kind of a nod to their dreamlike nature. I've had a few dreams where I kind of squeezed through a bunch of totally nonsense rooms in a house or attic to find this big library. That's probably one of the other rooms in Twilight's house, just like 2 floors of bookshelves. But those are my characters and their bedrooms for this week. Definitely learned a few things, mainly my limitations within the 3 to 4 days I have to make these pieces for the channel, which is wild, honestly. I don't think I've hit that wall very often or at all yet. The main thing was my wrist. I think it was the geometric shapes and smaller details that did a big number on it than the character designs normally do because they're a little bit more organic. I don't like pushing it too far because repetitive strain injury is evil, and I'd rather have use of it in the long term. Next time, one big scene, and then I can have even more detail. Kidding. No, I'm not actually. This did get my creative juices flowing, so I want to practice more with familiarizing and loosening up with those object shapes and doing bigger rooms in the future, potentially. For now, I've probably got to go let my hand cool down for a little while, so I will see y'all next time.